What's up, guys? It's Yank here with 47 North Gaming. I've got another episode of Train Sim here for you guys. I'm going to jump up in the cab and get us going. Now, if you remember from last time, we are on Donner's Pass. So I will release the brake, and with the slope that we got here, as soon as it's released, the train should start rolling on its own pretty much. But anyway, we're continuing on. We got about to go to Rockland. Probably not going to get this all done in one episode unless things really kind of straighten out for us, which it's the Donner Pass, so likely not. But we're going to get rolling here using purely the power of gravity. We'll get the energy recovery system spooling up. I know, kind of an obnoxious sound, but it is what we've got to help maintain the item. Yeah, see, already up to the speed. Now we're going to hit a level point, actually, so we might have to throw a little bit of gas at it just to keep things. At least until we hit that next down bit. Alright, so our destination for today, we wibbling around there, looks like. So this is what we've got left. Probably splitting the episode up, depending on where we get, either in Bowman, but more likely probably in the Colfax train yard. So we'll see when we get there, see how we're looking on time and how I'm feeling on energy as far as getting that done. What does that say? Setup. Oh, okay. Alright, we got a 2% grade. The sun is continuing to set. We've got another, according to the thing right now, about 2 hours to go until, but I think we're going to gain back some more time as we progress, as well as yeah, we're going to gain back time as we progress, and then I believe towards the end we're actually going to be able to pick up speed rather than doing 30 through the mountain pass that we've been doing now for the last couple episodes. But we shall see. According to the estimate and according to the distance, looks like we're not in much luck as far as getting a whole lot of speed increases. Yeah, you can really tell the sun is starting to set now. We don't have the sun down in the valleys. It's kind of shaded. So I'll pump the brakes here again. So we get like way up here. You still got some ambient light, but oop. Ah, there's a train. But down in these valleys, down on the backside of the mountains here, we've got no direct light, just ambient. Okay, I've lost the train. Tracks. There's tracks. Oop, found it. Working its way down there. Stretching along this area here. It's going to continue to descend this way. Ooh. Cross over that section of rail there. A bit of sunlight, but that sunlight looks like is going to be gone by the time the train gets there. And then we'll be passing underneath the freeway again on our way. It looks like actually a little bit of level ground, maybe even a bit of a climb. Oh, whoops, we are speeding. Clear that. So we got the Alta East track coming up. Doesn't look like that comes with any level track yet, but we will be coming around the corner, and I think we're going to be basing out here fairly soon, as we saw down the way. And we'll cross over this level crossing here. And then we'll cut back around. And we'll be going under that freeway that we saw just a moment ago. Zoom. Alright, so there's a little bit of sunlight there. But mostly staying in the shade. Probably not much more chance for direct sunlight. Maybe when we get over to this little town. Whatever town that is. And then we're coming up to Alta West. So I wonder if that's Alta, maybe? I don't know. Don't know for sure. Alright, there is the Alta west of track 1. That was the stop sign there, or the block light. Continuing down the mountain here. Pump those brakes again. We should be coming up now on the houses we saw fairly soon. Yes, there is the whistle signs. So we'll sit here. There's some of the last bit of daylight there for the train before it goes back off into the shade again. Once again, very, very beautiful, very nice looking. Gotta get that sucker spooled up again. Didn't realize there's another drop. It's interesting, this train gets really quiet when you don't have that thing screaming along there behind you. But we'll be dropping in down on another descent here, it looks like. Going through the Dutch flat, even though we're descending, not so flat. That is a 2.4% grade that we are just dropping in on, and I think it gets even steeper as we go through Dutch Flat. So we'll keep an eye on that, but we'll be gaining some of that speed up here in a moment, which is why I kicked on the energy recovery once again. So we'll take a look at where we are at. Alright, so we're coming around that bend. We'll be passing through, this is Gold Loop, Gold Run, here fairly soon. And we'll keep on going until we reach Colfax. I think Colfax will be the next stop point for us. Oops. Speeding again. Oh, we got some great stuff coming up here. And another level crossing coming up. Do the level crossing from inside the train today. Or this time, I should say. Yeah, that's awesome, just looking out in the vast expanse of wilderness here that is in the area. I think we're in California now. I don't know, California Nevada crossing point. No, we gotta be, because we passed Truckee, right? Alright, so we make that level crossing here. Continuing to descend down the mountain. Can back off that a little bit. Yeah, now we're definitely in California because we went through Truckee, so yeah. So now we just went through the Dutch Flat area. We are now into that Gold Run track section. So just 3 abreast now. Oh, look at that passenger window view. This is from one of them roomettes. Oh, sit here and just watch for hours. Oh, I look forward to my trip. I'm sure I'm having a blast on this trip too. So, that is gorgeous. Figure I will set up here to watch the train go by. Watch those shadows across the sides of the train ever so nicely. Once again, such a nice looking train. Such a nice looking train set anyway. With that Thanksgiving capacity on it. So the longer train set, a couple extra cars here and there. Alright, back to the double wide track. So now our next kind of big spot will be, so we're looking for Margra before getting into Colfax. We've got some nice little bends and wibbly bits to get there, so that'll be nice. And I think once we actually hit Colfax, and it gets pretty level, so I think that last little leg's going to be nice and quick once we, actually hit that point. But we got to get down to that point first, and who knows, and before we get to Colfax. But ideally, I'd like Colfax to be the next stop point, since it only makes sense being a nice little population center. speeding again. So now he's winding kind of back and forth and back and forth. Then eventually we're going to get to this really nice bit where we kind of horseshoe around. And we've leveled off, so I'm going to keep it spooled up, but not be using it really that aggressively at the moment, since I know we're going to go back downhill again. It can just be assumed at this point on Donner's Pass. It's looking down into the valley here, or this cut. Oops. And then we'll have another descent, looks like, coming up right after we get around this bend, or as we're exiting the bend. Not really along an edge, but through the trees nonetheless. Kind of cuts back, goes under the freeway. Alright, alright. Yeah, right there. Tips over. So we'll start picking up speed again, and about 24, I think we'll then put the energy recovery back to full tilt again. Continuing on down the tracks. The freeway should be coming back up once again. Next marking point is Magra. Guess I'm gonna look at my Google Maps. Magra is the next bit, okay. There's some climbing to do as we head over to Colfax, I do believe. I do hope, anyway. Kind of tired of hearing that thing scream in the scream. Oh boy, catching wabbits. No, scream in the back. Plus, haven't had to put these engines to use yet, so real too hard. Gonna slide under here the freeway. View from the freeway deck. Oop. Slipping on through there. So I got Magra track coming up here, so that's pretty quick. Then the next really big thing after the Magra track would be Colfax, which is the planned stopping point for this episode. Just love the scenery though. I know I've been saying that over and over again. I don't really have much else to say, just because we've been going at this quite a bit, but you're just enjoying the scenery that is available here. Gorgeous. We're passing the Magra Track 1 section. Sun's definitely starting to get low on the horizon now, so we'll be definitely getting more into the night scene. A little more dusk. It's not really dark, but by the time we get to Rockland, I'm sure it will be dark. Looks like we're gonna start bottoming out here, at least for another plateauing moment. Not sure how long that plateau is going to last down there, but regardless, we are still dropping. We're at 2.5% grade downhill. But again, does look like it'll be leveling off probably around this bend. It's just a matter of does it continue? do its thing there, since we are going to be leveling for a moment. Yep, looks like it continues down, but we are going to level, so I am going to let the recovery system regain that energy. Coming up on the Cape Horn track section. It's definitely gotten darker now. You can definitely see that transition of light. We're getting into what would be considered definite dusk. So you can really start seeing that headlight bloom. Oh, there's another transition. Yeah, now it's going to start really getting dark here for the train set. So now we get to see the train set come to life at night. Alright, there's that grade again. So bring the recovery system back up as we hit the Cape Horn section coming up, and we're gonna have a level crossing coming up as well. Absolutely gorgeous. It's kind of cool that the way the timing on this worked out. I didn't even really set the time on this section. I just went with what was, default. So it's kind of cool that we actually get to see that transition, so we can kind of see some daytime, get some dusk lighting, and then we'll probably by the end of this we'll get lighting on this trip as well. So quite cool indeed. We continue down the tracks here. Next big thing is we got that loop coming up, but we're getting fairly close to Colfax, so we're wrapping up there, but we got a tunnel to deal with in about 3/4 of a mile. Then we got our bridge. And we'll be coming into civilization and stopping up real quick before we make our final push onto Rockland on the Donner Pass map. From there, we'll be onto the Sun Surfer map, but I'll probably pull this train into the LA station just so that way you guys can see the train one last time before we make our transition to the Surfliner Thanksgiving edition that I made. That's the plan. I may just go straight to the Surfliner. We'll see. Regardless, you guys will get to see that when we get there. Because the Surfliner actually, they add capacity to it over over Thanksgiving, probably Christmas too. But Thanksgiving is one of the biggest holiday travels for Amtrak, which is why they add capacity. They're actually in the couple different areas of their system. I know that they are running all of their rolling stock just to make it work. Alright, so we're coming up on a tunnel, so we're actually not going to see the very edge of this. I don't know what it is, the edge of this cliff. We're not going to get to see. We're going to actually be running inside a tunnel instead. So good thing we got our work lamp on. We're actually going to turn this one on now too, just so we got a little bit more light in the cab, since we are it is getting into nighttime now, and we did go into a tunnel. But yeah, making that turn out of here. Got the bridge coming up. Take some nice pictures there. And then it'll be down in the Colfax, which is actually down out that direction, really. So if I go up this way, that is the bridge, which will take some nice pictures. And Colfax, where we'll be stopping up for this next bit, is actually right here. So we'll be coming into this bit and stopping up on that collection, just to have a nice little stop point, because we got another population center. And then we'll have one more episode on Donner's Pass, just so that way we can get that nicely wrapped up. I think that last leg is going to actually be very quick, because we're going to be more out of the mountains, and I think more just, I mean, we're still making some passes, but I don't think we're going to be doing a whole lot of descending or climbing, because at that point I think we're pretty level off to who's or what's it? Rockland. Alright, so we've got train coming there, crossing over the freeway. Alright. And we're actually on level ground. Or actually, I believe we're climbing slightly now. So, we actually get to put throttle in rather than trying to take energy out of the system. Kind of cool. So not much further to Rockland, or sorry, not Rockland, Colfax, which is where our final break point will be before headed off to Rockland finally. Still got a little bit of lingering sunlight from somewhere, but we basically got that is gorgeous. Alright, so now it's just a run down into Rockland. Not bad at all. And looks like the speed is going to drastically increase once we hit Colfax. Gee, what a surprise. I kind of figured that was the case. But we won't be taking that speed increase until we settle into Colfax for a break in the episodes. But definitely exciting. Get to zip through that last little bit at a decent clip rather than a long, not sludge, drag, whatever you want to call it. So because we will be planning on stopping in Colfax, we're actually not going to take the acceleration point at 50. We're just going to hold our 30 and go in and stop up. On main track 1. It's cool, even this area is kind of lit up just because of the